Hi, Lisa Schermerhorn here, and this is my show Where Truth Lies. And I am so excited to introduce you to my friend Debra Guerrero. She's in the Zero Limits movie with me with Dr. Joe Vitale. And I have to tell you, in every time I watch that movie, and I've watched it many times, you have so much wisdom to offer. And I've just been so impressed with meeting you, finally getting to meet you in person in Sacramento at the big red carpet premiere. And I just thought it would be important for people to get to know a little bit more about you because the movie only gives like this much
Yes,
about people. So, welcome, Deborah.
thank you, and what an honor. Yeah, I'm excited to be here, and you too. What you don't know is I was less than 5 seconds away from walking on stage to bend the bar in the soft spot of the neck,
Oh,
and
wow.
my partner backed out
Oh,
when our
wow.
names were called to go on the stage, the step.
Wow.
And that's not the kind of thing you can find somebody at the last second to.
Right, right. For people not to, in the movie I talk about, I did a week, I would say my hell week, but it was actually my heaven week,
Right?
where
Yes.
I walked on broken glass and 40 feet of red hot coals and bent a 40-foot piece of rebar from the soft part of my neck, which seems impossible. Like I still have that piece and it's in my garden. And every time I look at it, I'm like, how did that happen? I don't even understand it.
I was so prepared for that moment. I had the shadow box already prepared. I mean, I knew where it was going on my wall and all. So yes,
Wow.
but
Wow.
that's what
That's
we can do.
disappointing.
That's what our bodies. What it's what we can do.
Yeah, it's all about our mindset. So,
Yes.
you know, I've been reading a lot about mindset, I have over the years, and it talks about especially people who have overcome great adversity because we end up getting stronger. So many of us are like, why did we have to go through what we did to have the skills and the skill set that we have now? So I'm curious, going back to, what was your life like? How did you end up doing the healing? Because you're a minister and a healer. How did you get to that path?
So, and I believe that we're coming out of the woodwork to find each other right now. Right? We're
Right.
done with the medicines. We're done with we because we know. As a child, as a little kid, I'm 60 now. I knew at 4 years of age, I did not want medication. At 7 years of age, I'm having my third earache. And my mother takes me to the same doctor. I'm sitting in that same office that stunk and that same ugly furniture that was yucky and cold, right? And that stuff feeling. And he's telling me again, I have an earache. And I looked right at this man and I said, can you send me to someone that can fix me because you can't? I've been here 3 times.
Wow.
And then I looked at him and I said, and I pointed, I said, you are trying to fix a physical and I'm a spirit. And it was that moment, sorry, cat's jumping. It was that moment my mother reached over, touched my wrist, and now Deborah not here. But at that moment, I also knew, no, it's here and forever here. You just don't know.
Wow.
But I knew that we're to walk on water, we're to float. I mean, the last thing, whether you believe in Jesus, Yeshua or not, that's a dadgum good story. And people saw him doing it. He floated. That was the last thing he did. And then he tells us to do that and more. Well, I don't know anyone today, Lisa, walking on the clouds without somebody videoing it. But I want to be there. I know we will
Right. Right.
because we're coming to a collective consciousness now that we are. And by the way, in third grade, I asked the priest, second grade, I asked the priest to teach me to float, like the statue that I saw in the church with Jesus. I thought that would be simple. He told me he couldn't. I swallowed that. The next year, I said, teach me to walk on water. That's the year when he told me he couldn't. I asked him how he got that job because we should have some qualifications before we get put in places. And how can you be a priest? I even asked him, didn't you see the movie? He said, yes. Well, that's all you needed. Why?
Wow.
Why?
No, that's amazing to me because when you talk about ears, I spent most of my childhood being sick with upper respiratory infections and earaches and having surgery and tubes and everything. But I did not have that curiosity about God and spirit yet. That happened much later in my life. So I find it so fascinating. What was it in you that had that to question at such a young age? That's
I have very
amazing.
complete memory by age 4 of smells, clothing, who's
Wow.
in rooms. Um, and of course, at 4 and a kid, you don't understand empath, you don't know any of that.
Right.
What I knew is someone said to me, crystal clear, I will go through it. And then I saw the movie of Jesus' life. That was seriously simple. You're going to go through it. Okay, I'm going to go through it.
Wow.
And I also somehow by 6 knew I was going through it so others wouldn't have to.
Mm.
And when I say that, I honestly feel it in my body. And please, please, everyone get, there's no martyrism on that. There's none of that. I just knew it wasn't like you're going to be punished. No, it was you're going to go and learn.
Right.
And
S-
everything tended to be a lesson.
Right. But what is it when you refer to it? I'm going
Spirit,
to go through
God,
it.
I
Oh,
am.
okay.
It
Okay.
is I
I wanted to
am.
clarify
It
that.
is the I am. I knew there was connections. And again, my mother and family, like I'm talking to God. Who are you talking to? Well, no, that's not imaginary. No, it's God. And even though the outside did their best to smush that and smushed many things, that voice never left this part of my, never left. So I knew.
So you
And I
said
had that.
many, yeah, many tried to smush it or whatever it is. So what kinds of things did people say? What kinds of things happened to you that that was attempted to, stifle that message?
Definitely one of the ones, and I know you children
Mm.
are doing it every day, right? They have that imaginary friend. Well, just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there.
Right.
Second is, I think one of the worst things we've ever created in the school system was to remove our imagination because that's our number one gift.
Yeah.
I fully believe in everything in us with free will, our imagination. We can think ourselves out of poverty and into wealth if you'll actually take the time to do it
Mm.
and focus on it because it's all right here. We're the creator. And I knew that I knew that I knew everything that I am or was done, if that's hypothetically or reality, if that's my father, then I have every right to that, right? And as an adopted child, you can't unadopt me. I get all those benefits. So I want them all, Lisa. And I'm at the place in life I want them all. But I also saw, and I really got, because, and I'll go into this further, I'm sure, as we go. But I don't want anyone to think you're stuck in a place right now. If you think you're in a bad place, and please, even if you were raped last night, this morning, or today, if you have a breath in you, you're not stuck. You have ability. And we've got to take it in us and find that hope because other people cannot feed it to us. We can go to YouTube,
Right.
we can go to all that, but we've got to come inside and say, I'm worthy. I am. And you are the I ams. So go get all your inheritance. It's for you.
You have such a strong conviction in your faith. Did you ever have a time where you questioned and had to like move away for a little bit and
Oh, Lisa, I'm in that right now too. Oh, yes, literally just happened a few weeks ago. Yes, I was very, and by the way, I didn't grow up in that household that went to church and da da da. I was kind of the only one. And then there was even a season, which I find so ironically funny with God, that my mother, to go ride horses or do play, have fun, I had to go to church. And I'm like, great, now I don't have to walk. You're picking me up and taking me. Way to go. But so there was just always this hunger and desire and this peace. But I also saw hurt people hurt people.
Mm.
And just like the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, well, I had healthy people to look at also.
Mm.
And maybe it's looking outside, but I still got to look outside. So there was just always this innate, and let me tell you that, because I don't want it to sound like things were so bad, because I always knew, as bad as I felt it was, or things were going on, and even when I was raped, I also knew I was raped and was still alive.
The thing about rape though is it's not always the act, it's the aftermath of how it makes you feel.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Did you know the person who did that, or was
I knew
this some?
both.
Oh, so this was twice.
Yeah, I had two totally different experiences. And one I have found and released them with love. I am still looking for the other one to tell them I released them, because
Wow.
think of, Lisa, what horrible feeling they must have in themselves. First, to even be that place to do such. But then you have to live with that. So I want to let them know that I release them and it's fully a love. Now, make no mistake, I'm not the same person. That won't happen again.
Right.
Somebody
Right.
not.
So what's that like to face that person? Because you didn't know them at the time. So how were you able to find them?
Yeah, no, no, I did. I knew both of them.
Oh,
I,
you
I
did
knew
know
both
them.
of them.
Okay.
I knew both of them. So for me, in my story, to be honest, is I could look at my mother, who was so much worse.
Mm.
And yet that is the person I'm supposed to run to, right? That's your mother. For me, that didn't, I mean, no way. I'm not about to tell a hurt. I'm not about to share a wound, because one, it could be used against me. Well, it's going to be. It's going to be turned somehow. Um, but then it could also become violent on me. So I had to go in, and to go in and not explode, I had to have a connection. And that was my safe place. A little bit later in life, I found what I thought was a connection with someone in church. And she also did psychiatric work, blah, blah, blah. I thought that was safe up until I told her, and she went straight to my mother. Because how often does somebody that is being abused tell someone, and it makes it worse? So the abused person learns to, it's better to be quiet.
So did you go to this person about your mother abusing
Yes,
you, or oh wow, and
yes,
she went
yeah.
to your mother?
Yeah, yeah, yes, yes. And that's when I realized what hell actually became. Yes,
Wow.
yeah. But then I kept, and then I was going to church. I was so directed. I really honestly believed I would go into ministry and have a platform into ministry. And oh, this is so hard for me. Not a chance.
Mm.
There's just, I want the real God. I don't want what we sell. I want people to know that I am the one that heals. You don't have to pay for the prayer line to heal. it's
Right.
it's there. Um, and then I realized that my ministry, one, is finance, because our one of our biggest blocks is financial, right? And to minister doesn't mean that I need to go inside that church. And literally, the day they filmed me, Lisa, in Sacramento, Patrick calls, and my dear, very dear friend, we left for lunch. And he said, listen, can you hang around longer? We would like to film you in a church. My friend was like, wow, for Zero Limits, right? Zero
Mm-hmm.
Limits, big into church. She was like, you got to be kidding. This is God. This is so wonderful. I hung up and I'm smiling ear to ear. And Lisa, looking right at my friend, I thought, I cannot do that to her or other people. like immediately I felt like I needed to protect my friends and family. And I could not go in the church and film. I picked up the phone immediately, said, Patrick, I thank you. I so thank you for going to film me. But I would rather you film me in a gay bar, a mosque, or a coven, because God is there as he is as much as any church building today.
So I'm curious though, what were you afraid that people would see? They would see people's faces. They couldn't film
No,
from behind. What? I'm
no,
confused.
it's about the spiritual part of the church because the church is changing and shifting.
Okay.
The church as we know it today is shifting off of the ground. And by the way, I wasn't home 4 months when we had 13 very big pastors, very big, all falling, huge churches because of the ground it's on. Again, I don't want it to be about a business. It's about there's a relationship. And I don't want people to think, one, do I go to the Baptist church or the Catholic or this one or that? Which church?
Well, it's interesting that you say that because I'm friends with a fellow named Tom Althouse who wrote the original script to the Matrix, and he was involved with Pat Roberts' organization.
Oh, love Pat. So was I. Yes.
But there were some dark things that happened to him in that organization. Very
Yes.
dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some child
And did.
trafficking and grooming that was going on.
Yes. Tremendous. Tremendous. And that's why
Yes,
I said we want the good. Don't
right.
throw the baby out with the bathwater, but we need to change it. So for me, I was Patrick, and do film me outside. But again, God is every place you are, Lisa, because wherever you walk, you carry the
Right.
light. I'm done with separation. I'm just for
Mm.
me. I don't like the separation. However, I'm now in this midst of, well, where do I go? Where do I take this passion over here? And it's just, people have always said, well, are you going for this event for ministry or is this work or what? It's all the above. I don't take my left leg off to go to church or to a meeting. I carry it. So, really, wherever I am, if people want prayer, it's there. But I'm really more direct into teaching us how to open our own bodies. So, because the quicker you know how to do it, the quicker you show someone, and the quicker they show someone.
So when you
And
say open our bodies, what does that look
open our
like?
body to love and healing. So
Okay,
we get away from the medicines and so forth, right?
right.
We use the frequencies to open and love to heal our bodies. And I believe we're in such a shift again worldwide, whether you're in America or whatever country you're in, people are just we're like we want to come together, we want to support one another and be in love and not worry about being screwed over anymore of what building you're in
Right.
or where you're not.
Well, that's so true. And I think about in the work that I do, there's a huge body-mind connection. And I even now have stuff coming up. I've been working on myself for 25 years deliberately, just like knowing that there was a lot of pain and trauma in my life and really digging things out. And even after all these years, I was finding like my lungs and my chest like felt really heavy and I was like, what's going on? And I went inward and all of this old stuff was still coming up and needing to really release and forgive. And going into, the zero limits, the whole Ho'oponopono is such a huge, huge part of healing and the forgiveness part of that. So you've been involved with the Ho'oponopono for a long time, correct? You
I
actually
got,
went to meet
I was
Dr.
at
Hugh
the,
Lin?
yeah, I was at the first event in the front row corner seat. I mean, literally, Joe and I even laughed all through the thing. When you see me, my eyes are mesmerized to the man. And he was it was just love.
Yeah. And so for people who don't know what that is, the Ho'oponopono, because I would love it from your words of having been taught directly from Dr. Hugh Lin.
So it's, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Now, I know it sounds like those four simple things, but as you're saying it, and think of that you just had this major argument And I know you want to go because you're going to think you're doing it to that person, right? Because you're going to fix them. No, go ahead and pick up the mirror and look at yourself and do, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. You're clearing on yourself to heal the issue. And wow, emotions. When I learned that very weekend, the next week, I attempted a conversation with my mother. It did not go so well. However, like the norm, it was a hang up. It was that, but I started feeling different.
Mm.
And please, people here, after all the therapy and everything, and by the way, I said to my mother, I know we need help at 21. Let's get therapy. She called the police on me. We didn't get therapy yet. However, I did start working on myself, right? But this is Ho'opono is really all about healing some of those last things that you even think aren't even there. Because when that person cut you off or whatever that feeling is in your body, and as Lisa said, the healthier you are and the more connected you are to you, the more you feel in your body, the more quick it is. So something goes on. If you just start, even if you're too angry to do the process, tap and say, I love you. You will start releasing what's going on here with you, and that shifts. And it does. You change you. And I laughed, Lisa, when I said I went to call or tell my mother, I was offering to pay for therapy and going to let her pick the therapist. That's how afraid she was of me getting help. She had to go pick up the phone and call 911. Because see, when you get healthy and healed here, the world shifts.
So what did she say that happened that she had to call 911?
Well, it really got bad because my father ran out into the kitchen and hung the phone up. Well, you don't hang the phone up when you call 911 because they don't send one police officer, they send three. We're in a small community, so
Mhm.
all of them showed up. And I'm actually on my way out, leaving, and my father's trying to explain, but they somewhat knew my mother at this point. So, but yeah, totally embarrassing and obviously didn't happen. And honestly, I left totally crushed, Lisa. I left that day so beaten down and crushed because I knew in my heart we needed help. I knew in my heart we won't survive or move forward further without this. So I was so afraid of getting help. I went to a different city, paid cash, and used a fake name. That's how afraid I was of my mother, even to get help. So, but at the end, when my sister calls and my mother it was getting worse, not time, but worse, right? It's closer. I'm the one that said, anything you want except remove my mother from her home. I'll take care of her. And there was no guilt. It was total love. Because
Amazing. That takes a lot. And you know, I have so many questions about this. So your father, you talk about your mother a lot. Where was your father in all of this?
so there's where the big healing had to come in, right? Because there's all
Right.
the mother. Where was he?
Yeah.
Now, he truly did work a lot. He worked a lot to take care of a lot of her stuff. However, he was also not present even when he knew. And he even told me later, I was around 17, he said, Deborah, it's just easier. And it was easier for him because he didn't want the violence.
Mm.
He didn't want it.
So he deferred to allow you to take the beatings
Or be
and
gone.
whatever and be
Yes,
gone.
yes, yeah, or be gone. Yeah. I mean, my mother was quite sick, Lisa, to the point like literally at 12, I drove my mother to my best friend's home. There's no Jerry Springer. We could have invented it. Uh, my best friend so my mother could have an affair with my best friend's brother. Now I'm 12. You don't have a license at 12. I'm having to hide the car. And all the police knew me because I was a good girl and I ran marathons. So I would have them drive me home off like, oh, please. So I'm petrified. So I had this fight
So
or
why
flight
didn't your
put in
mother drive?
because my father could have saw the car. People would see the car. I had to cover it up. I was the
Oh,
backup.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I was always put in the midst of things with her. And then I had to be the one to keep it clean.
Wow. That's a big
Lots of
burden.
yeah, a lot of responsibility, especially at 4. I was doing that by the age of 4. However, I know that there's how many people are going to view this that have even worse,
Mm.
right? I know a lady that well, the little boy that I prayed for that was mute, his father sold him every night. This is why he was mute, Lisa. Sold him. So I look back and I look at that mirror and go, oh, thank you, God. I just got to go through enough to have enough to stay enough connected in deep roots that I can come out and pray God, show other people, help people get out of it, get into frequencies, get into.
One thing that I had to learn, the big one, is that most of everything that's outside of us is a mirror about what's going on inside,
Yeah.
right? So
Yes.
as we clean, as we clear and forgive all of those things. Oh, you see, Kitty.
We have a
Aw,
cat fixing to sit on the computer.
aw.
My little rescue baby, he
So
rescued.
sweet. So as we clean what's around us, right? And the people shift and change. And I tell a story how I had someone in my life that I hadn't spoken to in 14 years. They didn't know that I forgave them, right?
Yes,
Nothing had changed except the way I felt about them because I wanted to just release it and not carry it anymore.
yes,
And that
yes.
created miracles in my life. I got a phone call out of the blue. I noticed things between us have changed. I want you back in my life. How can we make this happen? And I almost drove off the road. That is the miracle of forgiveness. And what was interesting is I even went to when I was in Marbella at the film festival in
Yes.
Spain about 2 months ago. I met an Indian fellow who had lost his son and ended up doing a movie about the power of the healing. There was an Indian prayer, I think it's Om Namah Shiva, um, and how that helped him survive the loss of his son and how he healed. So, regardless of what language, what culture, whatever you use, the idea is because one of the things that people always say to me around about the Ho'oponopono, they're like, wait a minute, why am I apologizing? Why am I saying I'm sorry? Please forgive me to the person who hurt me. How does that work?
The simplest explanation is just take responsibility for everything. The moment you take responsibility for everything, there is zero room for any victimhood. Zero. Now, I assure you, Dr. Hulin would say that so much prettier and so much
Yes.
elegant. But the truth is, when you take it and we quit, because part of this, right, and part of what keeps some of the chaos going is our thinking. Well, we're trying to really justify it. We're all that looking for it is already the justification. Just be that we're connected as one. And by us being connected, I'm taking connection responsibility back to my ancestors. In many prayers, they'll say, they'll even take it back when you're cleaning your pathways and your gateways and such, right? They'll take it back to the beginning of time, or they'll take it back to the grandmother or whatever. I tell people, I'm not taking it back to just my grandmother. I don't know what Yankee Doodle Dandy did back there in my family. I'm going all the way back to the beginning. Let's just go to the beginning. But by taking that off the table, when I tell you, you took so much more off, and that's the victimhood. And one thing I want to make sure I say, you know, I knew going to Because one, my mother lived 55 an hour away each way. That's 1 and 2 trips a day. But I knew that there was going to be good come out of it. What I did not know, it's less than a week before she did graduate. We weren't having a discussion. I'm walking through and she quietly looks up and said, Deborah, I'm so sorry. And Lisa, for her, she could have thrown him, that was $1 million party for someone else.
Right.
So sometimes we don't get to hear the end, but there was an end. And the end with the Ho'oponopono and the zero limits and with my mother is that I got to love my mother. I didn't change her.
Right.
I loved her. And through my loving of her, I became who I needed to be. I also looked at her. Now that was, again, jump for joy moment for me. But I also had to look back at her and tell her thank you. Because I would have failed her job, Lisa. See, on the most of this conversation, it's been that she's kind of not been so good. Well, if that's her contract, though, so I can be who I need to be,
Right.
damn, she did a good job, Lisa. She did a damn good job. And I thanked her. And it was at that moment, Lisa, when my 360 got to come around and I got to go, that's what you meant.
Yes.
That's really all for years. I felt I was walking in a freedom until the moment I said, thank you for being what I needed to be for such a time as this. Because see, if she would have been kind and all that, I wouldn't have become the empath I am. Honey, I can read a room like this. I can tell when you're 28 rows over if you have a migraine. And we're going to pray and get it over now because I don't want to deal with it. But that's because of her training. So thank you, Mom.
You know what?
Perspective.
It wasn't until, because I remember reading the book by Byron Katie, Loving What Is, and it was
Yes.
all about taking responsibility. And I was in a class that I had been taking, it was energy medicine class, and I remember throwing the book across the room, and I was like, wait a minute. They did this to me. Why am I having to take responsibility? I could not wrap my brain around it when I first started this work. And I remember being really angry and really upset. And then I learned, this is my belief, and sounds like you have a similar belief, that before we come into form in this world, we have a contract with other souls, and we sit with our guides and we say, in this lifetime, our soul is desiring to become this person, and in order to become this person or this soul, it's requiring for these things to happen. Now, most people would say that's crazy, right? Why would I even say to some of my clients, I'm like, yeah, we were both doing shots of I don't know what for a while before we came
What
in.
was I thinking?
Who would agree to that, right? And whether you believe it or not, okay? Let's say you know whatever. When you accept that, it changes everything. Whether it's true or not. The idea of saying, I agreed to this and I asked these people to play this role and it's a movie. And because I asked them to play this role, this is what happened to me and this is how I became this person. That's what allows the freedom. That's the taking the responsibility. And
Yeah,
that's the
Lisa, I use it as you've got children,
yeah.
you've got they've got a good father, right?
Hmm.
Most kids have good parents, but we all fall short.
Right.
What good parent would send their kid to another country to be raped, abused, and play April Fools on them for how many years? All the time telling them they're a good daddy. So here's my analogy. I look at God. He's not going to send us down here and let us be beat, hurt, and abused. And I'm going to call him a good God? But no, he's a good God because he said, you had free will. I allowed you to come play this game the way you want. Now, the moment you're ready to get the out here and you need a little help, you call on me and we're going to come and we're going to help a little bit. And again, we have free will to shift the road, change the things, right? So yes, I'm very thankful. And again, there's also that perspective, right? When we have that healing, the perspective is so different.
It is. And then once you have that healing, I always say if you spend, imagine with resentment and anger, let's say you've got a scale from 0 to 100. And I don't know, 50% of the time you're still resentful and angry and blaming the other people for your circumstances, maybe 80%, whatever that is. That's less time for you to focus on your life. And so much energy is going into a place that doesn't serve you. And so, what I love about this conversation is to help people understand when I truly, truly forgave. And I hear people say all the time, I forgave them. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Don't think so.
No, when you can look at that person and think about that person in a place of neutrality, and it's not saying it's not what happened is okay.
Right.
It's that I keep the wisdom. I keep the wisdom, but everything else gets to go. And when that happens, whatever you believe, the Holy Spirit, God, your God, whatever that is, everything starts to ramp up. Your thoughts, you start to manifest instantly. You start to create a life that's incredible. And I think about my life since I'd started the Ho'oponopono, what is it, 4 years ago, how much that changed my life and put me on a trajectory that
Yes.
I never, ever could have imagined.
Such peace.
Yes.
Four things. I'm making the brand new, which I had it to show you, the Ho'opono heart. So it'll have, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. They're beautiful. The four little things. But by the way, four means create, and they do create. If you just put those out there and some intention behind it, and then start doing it with other people and friends, boy, you will what we can shift in communities so quickly.
I started out in a Ho'oponopono group and we met on a regular basis. And what I will tell you, the funniest thing was, and the greatest thing was everyone meeting on a regular basis on Zoom, reporting in on the miracles that happened in our lives. And this one woman who's still a friend of mine to this day loves chocolate. And she was manifesting chocolate showing up on her neighbors. Like, she's like, guess what I got this week? Chocolate chip cookies. And then she's like, I got an Easter basket this week.
I
People,
have so been thinking of starting it back up, and I'm glad that's the confirmation. I am going to start another one. You should too.
yeah,
We need them all over. We need
yes,
all over because the more you're smiling, the more I smile, and the more others smile. Right?
yeah.
We are at such a time to shift from problems to blessings and abundance.
Yes. And what I am noticing is my frequency keeps rising. And the more I rise, and I love to laugh, and people will remark about my laugh, but laughter raises your frequency. So the more that you can not have to take yourself so seriously and not be a victim and go into this place of looking at everything in your life as a blessing, it changes everything. Now, you talk about your healing work. I'd love for people to heal, and I want to hear more about, what is it, what is your ministry like when you say that you've helped people heal? What does that look like? What does your practice look like?
Well, usually when I speak, there'll be opportunity at breaks or whatever, or I'll go into church services and they have me pray over people. And there's just their power of God absolutely shows up.
So when you say you pray over people, what does that look like? What are some of the things that have shifted and changed in people?
Well, the little boy that I prayed over, it was during COVID, so we were literally on a Zoom
Lockdown, yeah.
because he was in Turkey. And
Wow.
they set him down. Anyway, I told him to send him on to play for a bit because we needed to deal with mom. That's where the issue was. And then just really, they brought the little boy back over, and I just what I started feeling is what I'll start praying over. You know, and I'm sure you probably feel this too. In empaths, we have absolutely learned, and then you have the gift with I am really will help. Um, but we can walk in a room, right? And we can sense where that energy is off. We can smell it, we can sense it, but often when you're with somebody, they don't have to say anything, and maybe they're not even leaning or, but you'll sense something. I feel it in my body, but I know it wasn't there before. And
Right.
like, and now this is freaky because at the dinner at Sacramento, I was actually feeling about 7 different people.
Wow.
And at one point, I looked at Victor and I said, somebody's got a really bad low back problem. So I looked at him and I acted as if I'm praying over him, his low back, because somebody, and then my back quit hurting. So that might sound funny, but all I know is I'll feel it. And if I try to
Yeah.
release it to whoever, because it's not mine, it's not our stuff. But just like a chiropractor adjustment, right? You put somebody in a chair and so often a leg or an arm is shorter, you just command it to come on out and grow. And I know it, like somebody will say, well, that's fun. No, it does. And the person will even hear it and feel it. It's kind of weird. But we get their adjustments quickly or whatever's going on.
So do
These
they have to
should
believe in it
be,
for it to work?
no, electricity comes on whether you're blind or not,
Right.
right? I could be blind and you turn the switch on, you're going to see it. By the way, this is happening with one lady right now. Everyone else saw her miracle, but she's still not seeing it. Sometimes we don't want to, sometimes we're blocking, right?
Yes.
That's our own defense because also being ill is also could be an easy excuse. So when our body's healthy, but usually it's simple things. And, I've only had prayed over one person, mute, blind eye, deaf ear, but hundreds of legs. But this is something, Lisa, that everyone can do. And that's what I want to get us to is when we're in a room, show people how to just talk to your body because our bodies listen. I'm very sure you're familiar with Barbara O'Neill. We love her
Yes.
holistic approach, right? Put the right things in. For me, I did the juicing. I did that. I could have been vegan. I was all of it. And I was getting fatter and bigger and more unhappy. I went to eat beef and butter and I released 50 pounds in less than 7. I mean, right? So everyone is a little different. Work with your system and how God created you. But there is a natural flow for everything. And when we start releasing and letting that flow come, we let the finances, we open our gates, we use the different products with have frequencies and start believing. Even if you don't have to believe that frequencies work, but when you click that light on, you want to know the electricity. Look, I woke up, it was cold this morning. I want to know when I hit that button for the first time this year, heat came on. When we talk to our body, it needs to start reacting just like that. However, there are things out there that help us. Get your EMF protectors on your cell phones. Use them, but keep protection, right? Have protection in our house. Do things. Eat the right things for your body. Because I know some of you, juicing works wonders. I miss it, some of it.
No, and you know what? Going back to I've seen people call things back. Like I've seen people heal, and then suddenly weeks later, it's all back again. And you mentioned it. It's the person who is too attached to being sick because it empowers them because they get attention for it or they get disability for it or whatever reason it is. And they're too afraid to step into their power, so they will call back whatever they had because on some level, or they'll get angry. They don't want to heal.
And sometimes it's the yo-yokers, right? Because they've already created a brain map. Now they've got to start doing things enough to get out of change a different brain mapping. And
Exactly.
sometimes that takes a while. And I'm sure that's where your hypnotherapy definitely comes into play, where you can help people shift that very quickly.
Yeah, it's about getting to where's the root cause of that belief system. And you can inherit belief systems going in.
Absolutely. Generational curses.
Yeah,
Water.
exactly.
Water.
Yeah. And so that's a lot of the stuff too. I've gone back up to 10 generations with people. So there's a lot of unconscious beliefs and things that people carry. You know, I get frustrated when I see in the generations when you see, someone abuses someone and they're like, well, I was abused. And I'm like, but didn't you know better? You didn't like being abused. Why is it okay that you suddenly now transfer that on and to someone else? And that's where I'm like, I'm sorry, I have a really hard time with that excuse. That's all I knew. And
Yeah.
people, many, many, many people carry that, and
Yeah.
that's their stuff. But
Most
um,
abused were abused.
right.
Are most
But
abused.
to me, or they become empaths.
Well, hopefully. And by the way, that is where it should be, right? You go
Yes,
into this to come out of it, not to stay in it and to
right.
repeat it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Exactly.
there lies the problem.
Yeah. It is a big problem. And that people need to understand that there is a way out. And the first thing is we talk about saying we're sorry and forgive to others, but it's also about self-forgiveness. That's the greatest key of all. For me, it has been.
And definitely mine. I multiple friends would say I am so hard on myself. I am by far the hardest.
Yeah.
And that's where I work on to not be the perfectionist or not be. It's funny, I can be the empath for this one, but here I want to be hero. I
Yeah.
want to be hero. I want to look perfect. I want my hair done. Oh, we were going live, Lisa. Oh, I didn't understand the message.
Well, you look beautiful.
And then we have fun. Like I did a video, literally a video shoot a few weeks ago, and this friend of mine wanted to do my makeup. I'm 60. It's been the same way probably for, I don't know, the day I started putting it on, right? It is where it is. She said, let me do it. She did it. She said, do you like it? I looked at it no, no, not at all. And she says, oh, well, we're going to go have fun. Let's go do the photo shoot. She goes, but you don't like it. I said, no, I don't. But so what? It's on my eyes. It'll wash off later. Did you like it? You obviously didn't think I looked stupid because you left me looking like this. So let's go. We don't have to like everything. We don't have to enjoy every conversation. Stay in the game.
Yeah.
Go have fun. We had the photo shoot. I promise you, by the time we hit the elevator out of that building, I didn't remember what my eyes looked like. And in the videoing, I really didn't look at it until I looked close and I looked, oh, yeah, I still don't like it. That's okay. So fine. I know what I don't like. It's not a problem. We need to laugh more. And when you're doing the Ho'oponopono, and you will take the responsibility, if you stub your left toe getting out of bed, don't stub that your wife moved the couch. Take responsibility.
Yeah.
I know it sounds funny, but just take it and start taking it more and more. And then you realize you're more and more not looking at someone else.
Yeah. Now, you do a lot of work helping people financially, right? So what does that look like to help
That
people
is
get
fun.
financial freedom? Yeah.
That is so fun. Like you live for healings and things, but when you see someone that literally their finances were shift, you double their money. We are not taught in America money.
No.
Think about it. You get out of high school as a senior, you're just about guaranteed a credit card now as a senior. No job, no, but we're going to gift it to you because we want to teach you slave ship,
Yes.
not
We want you
ownership.
in debt from the
Yes,
moment you can go out on
yes.
your own. And look at the
I
college.
it's yeah, we teach debt, but we don't teach the things to be that they own. I teach people first, your money is yours. Don't hand your money over. Don't put it in a bucket that they control it. That's rule number one. Second, let's look at the Rothschilds and Vanderbilts because everyone knows how wealthy they were, right? Tell me a Vanderbilt worth any money today. It's all gone. And it's how they did it. See, the Rothschilds learned a system. Now all of their family, over 160 of them, are multi-millionaires. And by the way, it's set up now, they'll never outlive it. I mean, it's on. It's how Harvard went. So I teach people, make a profit paying your bills. Everybody's got bills. Why don't we use OPM? I mean, Harvard teaches it. I know you know what
OPM.
OPM, other people's money.
Oh, okay.
We want the wealthy know that if they have the money for that strip mall or whatever, that house, they're still not going to use theirs. They're going to use OPM. So I teach people to put the money in the right bucket, make a profit paying your bills, live your life, own it, leverage it by other people's money. And I will show you a system that is so simple. We took a gentleman yesterday on a Sunday morning that has to buy, now this is a good problem to have, Lisa. He needs to buy a $2.4 million piece of property just to offset taxes. Why do I want to have to force? No, we're going to reshift that the right bucket. He'll never be in that bucket again and own his life.
Right.
And by the way, let's say that this bucket is $10,000 and you want 9,000 out today, take 9,000 out. Tomorrow, you're still earning compound interest, not simple, off of 10,000. And everyone in America can have it. And some people out of the country. So give me a call for it. So it's a system. And it really is. It's awaken the banker within. It excites me because we are able to shift families. I've got families that are now putting their kids literally in college because of it for free.
Wow.
For free. Their kids are now going to college on someone else's money. They got another one just paid off a rent home, other people's money. And especially if you're an entrepreneur, you need to learn just to leverage your money. That's what the ultra wealthy do. They do not ever go to a 401k or something like that.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Now you also make healing frequency pendants and all kinds of things you started to show.
I sure wish again, I didn't understand the assignment. Because I have the brand new Ho'opono, the zero heart.
Yeah.
Be zero to bold. And on the back, where the gold is right here, it'll actually say, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. It is just gorgeous. I love it. And
But you make it, and I see all those brightly colored bottles behind you. So you make all, those are gorgeous. So
yeah,
what is it that they do?
They're frequency infused. So this is my new color. If that'll come out, that's going to be a necklace, like what I'm wearing.
Yeah.
They're all frequency infused. So I've had this mandate 3 times in my life. Again, it's always the same. I hear I am clearly tell me my children need to be healed inside out. And then the first one was to create the EMF for cell phones, block that, always with healing and these frequencies. So the quick story on this, if you would have told me a week before I was going to make jewelry, I would have hung myself. I would have not a chance. I don't know what would have happened, but no, I would have been wished for an illness, like so seriously. I hate to say that, but that's the truth. But God, right? But God, here I'm making jewelry, bold rulers. It's a Friday night. We're in the lockdown. I had been into prayer for literally days and days in deep studies, deep time. That day, it had probably been about 15, 16 hours straight. I'm literally coming out, wiping my eyes. When I kid you not, the room was so bright, Lisa, I had to do that to cover. Now, all I had on was a salt lamp, and my animals are asleep, but it was so bright. And I looked down, and I know that I know, because I've seen it before, there was Jesus's foot. I could only see the foot in a sandal, but I also knew that Metatron was behind him. That is a big angel in frequency. All I can tell you is 2 hours had gone when the one light dimmed, I knew Jesus was gone, but the light was still a little too bright to really do that. And then it was gone. And I knew exactly what to do. It, Again, if you would have told me to go to Hobby Lobby, well, I go to Hobby Lobby. It's now Saturday morning. I get at Hobby Lobby at 5 minutes after 6. They're not Home Depot. I don't know. I don't do hobbies. Remember, I would have hung
Mm.
myself to do jewelry. I go back later. I go, it's like, it's so funny when I look back at it now. I went to the exact row for every single thing. Everything I got was 50% off. I get back home. I thought, I just walked in that store like I owned it, like a boss. I mean, a badass boss. I did. I started making them and I'm like, this is fun. But I knew it wasn't about it being fun or pretty. I knew it was about the frequencies because, see, I've studied frequency specific microcurrent for over 20 years. Something most people don't know. About 18 years ago, I got literally a ticket going to see Joe Vitale and a ticket on the way home from seeing Joe Vitale on the same freeway by the same police officer within the same mile.
Do you ask Joe to pay that for you?
No, Joe didn't find out till years later. And it's all because I was at an event in Los Angeles of frequencies, and they had this new device that was like a pin. And Joe had some issues with allergies. So I buy a $200 pin that I don't know any better on that stirs coffee and all for frequencies. But that's how much I believed in frequencies way back then. So my ticket to Joe, literally. And then I've started doing frequencies. I also represent or affiliate with David Wong, the Chi machine, phenomenal. And then I do what we do the high end with New Vision. I don't do it on my side. My friend does. I use their machines called New Vision. It is phenomenal for practitioners, really. I can get your name, date of birth, and where city and state you were born in, and I can read your mail emotionally. And that's where we need to get to heal. So these have all the frequencies in them for our gates, for all of our organs, our skin, lots of anti-aging stuff, right? Keep us here because we're going to be here a long time. And balance, nothing for sleep, nothing to excite you, but definitely EMF. And then they're just pretty too. So, but they were really created out of heal my children inside out. It's about our frequencies and the gates and so forth.
So when we wear something like that, not only are you blocking EMFs, correct?
Yes.
What is the frequency doing to our physical body? What does that mean?
I'm sending peace and smile constantly, like literally constantly. Uh, Dr. Joe, the 432 to 0,
Hmm.
that song is also in there. A matter of fact, that's infused for right about 30 hours along with Yod He Vav He. Yod He Vav He says God eternal within. That's what our blood actually spells out.
Yes.
Um, so which
Is
is
it
pretty
Greg
cool.
Braden talks about that?
Yes, he got it. It's the Hebrew uh,
Yes.
from Gamatra. But you know
Yep.
what's funny? As much as I'm in the church and I go outside to Hebrew classes with some ladies I adore, I learned that also from Greg Braden. So I want to put this out there right now, even the time. I'm so into time. It's 109, 9 is final. This is going to get to Greg because Greg, I can't wait to have a cup of coffee, water, tea, and broccoli with you. I'm so ready. But he's on my vision board to have. So I love Greg Braden. But Greg is my number one minister, by the way. I tell the world.
Wow.
He
Wow.
ministers to me. Oh, yeah.
No, he's amazing at the work he does. If you've never seen, what he talks about, but he literally he was able to break down what is in the
It's a
DNA.
scientist, the rabbi friend of his. What the rabbi did is realize our blood is protein break, protein break, protein break, protein break. And he said, there's no such word as coincidence. So he kept looking. He said, there's something to this. he took it to Gematria, which is the
The
letters.
Hebrew, so
Yeah.
each Hebrew letter, I happen to be Jewish.
Oh, good. So there you go. Then I could study from you.
No, I don't know about that. It's been a while. But each Hebrew letter is also a number.
Yeah,
And
I've actually
so,
got to see a Bible written in that. There's a Bible written and it's nothing but numbers. Those rabbis are so
really,
smart.
wow.
Oh, so smart.
Yeah, so gematria, there's a numerical sequence to words, and they can use those for other meanings. So they'll translate them. It's really fascinating if you haven't. And you can actually, I think there's some sites that have Hebrew gematria, and you can plug in a word and it'll tell you what it means.
Yeah, yeah. And it actually what it spelled out was carbon, oxygen. I mean, what we're made of.
Right.
Come on, which then ends up spelling Yod Hey Vav Hey. And when you read what that is, it says
God.
God signed his name in our
In
blood.
our DNA. And
Yes.
and here's the other thing that's interesting. When you learn the Hebrew language, and this is what's so cool about it, when you read it, and you're reading from right to left, when you speak it, it's a very different feeling than when they do something called transliteration. So let's say you say shalom, the word is hello, goodbye, and peace. When you read it in Hebrew, it has a very different feeling and meaning because it's an ancient language versus if
Yes.
someone just put Shalom and you
No.
read it from English from left to right. You'll feel it in your physical body when you read from the Hebrew. And so I find that so interesting that you're studying that.
Well, it's so funny. So for my 22nd birthday, I bought myself this book library set, and it was for me back then because I'm a single parent, and it was in Hebrew. So I went to the synagogue to the rabbi to teach me.
Wow.
Literally, literally. And I have Yana and Darla that I learned from. So I'm going to be calling on you more because for me, this is where I need to learn because this, yes, yeah, yeah. We need to go back to the original books.
Yeah, and there's Aramaic, there's a lot of
Yeah,
really
yeah.
beautiful ancient languages that we've gotten away from. So yeah, this is so
I'm trying to learn
fascinating.
Hebrew. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I've been away from it. It was forced on me as a child. I didn't voluntarily do it, so
Not easy to learn,
no, it's not.
but it's fun. But even through that, I'm going to tell you that would have those classes and me learning that would have never happened without Ho'opono
Interesting.
because yeah, there's a good in me, but I also have this very legalistic law that I absolutely still, and I said I messed up myself 2 weeks ago. I have to be careful to not get in that religious spirit of this is how it should, oh, that's how it needs to look. No, that's what somebody else told me. I'm gonna go find out for myself now
Right. Right.
because this book doesn't even make sense anymore in one way, or we got to start learning for ourselves.
Wow. This has been an amazing conversation. I always love this freestyle kind of conversation because you never know what you're going to cover. So I want to
No, I
get
didn't even
your
know we were going to record. I'm playing with you.
So what I want to do is I'm going to have all of your links below so people can contact you. So if people want to get into your financial programs, how do they reach you?
Let me give one email that gets for everything. That's the
Yeah.
E. It's Deborah at Bold Rulers. And Deborah is Debra, the short way.
DEB, no
R A.
O, it's just
No,
DEBRA.
yeah,
Okay.
Deborah at Bold, Bold,
Yeah.
Rulers, Ulers.
Yeah.
And then that
Rulers.
email will get me to everything. And then the website is awakenthebankerwithin.com or myname.com or
Awaken the
boldrulers.com.
banker within.com. And then Deborah at Bold Rulers, is that .com?
Well, no,
Or
DeborahGuerrero.com and then boldrulers.com.
okay.
So I
So
gave the one email and then the three
yeah,
web.
the email is Deborah at boldrulers.com.
Yes, yes.com.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure. And I'll have you send it so it'll be in the link below. So if people want to buy any of your frequency jewelry or any of that, they'll be able to contact you and find
Yes.
it. So, is there anything that I didn't ask you that people should know other than you have a cockatoo?
Oh, I have a Moluccan cockatoo,
Yeah,
my child, my baby. I've got uh two, well, I had three, but one's gone. Cats that have shown up needing homes, and we brought them in, and they have rescued me. They're my babies. So,
that's so
and I
awesome.
have a son.
Yeah. Aw. And so my yeah, I had a yellow naped Amazon parrot for 20 years. They're a lot.
I've had her 25. She's actually, as of August, I've had her 25 years.
Yeah, they're a lot.
And
They're a lot. They're
we
funny.
figure that she's about 3 years when I got her, and they estimate about 75-year lifespan. So
Yeah.
yes, she's willed. She is willed.
Yes.
And you started to ask, what would I leave someone with? Really, especially on the finance, don't think any question is too small. There's too many things right now, and there's too many.
Oops. Hi, Lisa Schermerhorn here, and this is my show Where Truth Lies. And I am so excited to introduce you to my friend Debra Guerrero.